Hello and welcome to this week's YouTube market update and also some potential trades that we're looking at and also what we've actually been in, some trades that we've actually entered and closed out as well, right? The trades that you're in are more important than the ones you're looking to get into, right? You want to manage what you've got and then obviously you're looking for new opportunities as well. Well, our Pfizer trade is doing very well with the Pfizer vaccine expected to receive FDA approval, full approval. I think one of the only vaccines that is going to receive FDA full approval. So that's obviously helped the Pfizer trade that we're in. So let's have a look at that. So PFE, Pfizer is the ticker now, or PFE is the ticker for Pfizer. Now, if we put the 8 EMA on this particular stock, it's actually been using the 8 EMA from the 9th of July as a support level. So still looking good. That news coming out about Pfizer is obviously continuing to push that higher. At this stage, if we go back to what we did last week, we've got a riskless trade, right? We cannot lose on this trade because what we did is we bought the 45 call for the 15th to the 10th expiry for $2.33 a contract, okay, and then we sold it a week later for $4.65 a contract, okay. So we locked in $232 a contract, or almost 100% return in a week. Then we used some of that profit to roll up. So that involved step one, closing out the original option you bought, 45 call, and buying the new 50 strike call, same expiry, same amount of contracts. So we now have a riskless, profitable trade where we cannot lose any of our own money. Cannot lose. Doesn't matter what happens, right? So you're extra brave when you can't lose, right? So we actually, we have a $54 profit per contract, okay? So, taking 10 contracts here, for example, you spend $2,330, $4,650 comes back in a week. Now, some of our members decided just to close it out after a week. 100% return in a week, yes thanks, I'll take that, and that was the end of the trade. Other members expect it to continue to move higher and they want to stay in the trade, right? So they've created a riskless, profitable trade there where the profits we made from the original option are higher than the cost of the option. So that is a beautiful thing. So that's what's happened there with that one. Interesting to note, though, with the FDA giving full approval to the Pfizer vaccine, the former FDA commissioner actually left. The former FDA commissioner left the FDA, and where did he go? He went to Pfizer, to Pfizer's board of directors. Nothing to see here. Move on. So that's what happened there. Now, as far as the overall markets go, let's have a look right now. If we look at the SPX, the best gauge of the overall stock market, we can see using the 50-day moving average as a support level there, just continuing to grind higher, right up there, right near all-time highs, right? Now, if we use our 92% accurate opening range, which is from the third Friday of the month, which is right here, we put the high and the low of that day. We've now broken above that significant trend line going back to March. I'll just show you that quickly. Okay, we've got back up above that now, which is very important. And we have now broken into opening range bullish mode, right? So we're bullish as far as that short-term 92% accurate opening range shows us. So that's what's happening there. Now, if we look at the workspace, we can see that the NASDAQ had a good night last night. Russell 2000 moved very nicely as well, up almost 2%. That's been very range bound in a trading range. It bounced off the lower trend line and has now gone higher. So that's okay right now, sort of more neutral than anything else. NASDAQ still looking very strong. S&P 500, spoken about that. The industrials broke up above the 21 EMA and its sideways trading range, dipped below it, now broke back up above it again. The transports have broken out of their downward trend and they're now using the upper part of that downward trend as a support level. So that's obviously more bullish than what it has been, that's for sure. So right now you would have to say there is nothing particularly bearish about this market, right? I know there's a lot of the media talking about inflation, and certainly inflation is certainly coming in with soybeans and corn and food and real estate and financial assets. It certainly is a factor, but the market just seems to be shrugging it off. The S&P 500 within striking distance of another all-time high. Over 90% of companies beating their earnings this quarter. Oil has pulled back somewhat, which is obviously bullish for consumers. Congress will probably rubber stamp another $4 trillion plus stimulus package next week. There's nothing particularly bearish going on right now in the markets short term. Okay, the largest sector in the market, which is technology, XLK, that's above the 21, still grinding higher, looking strong. I wouldn't say grinding, I'd just say still strong in an uptrend. Biotech had a bit of a breakout, 2.85%, getting back up above the 21 EMA. Second largest sector, financials, above the 21 EMA. Healthcare doing really well. Nothing particularly bearish here at all. Energy is lacking a little bit, but that's about it, right? The energy sector. But, in a nutshell, trade what you see, not what you think. Right now, the market is telling us, at least at this point, looking at it today, the market wants to move higher, right? So we're going to trade in that same direction. Now, one of the trades that I mentioned to you all was Microsoft, right? So let's have a look at Microsoft. I told you guys about this 2 weeks ago. I said, look, we're looking to get into Microsoft, and we need it to get above 295, right, for us to make our profit on this one. Well, guess what? That's exactly what it's done. In fact, there's the actual trade that I showed to my members, right? So we sold the 295, bought the 290 for $205 a contract, right? So I bought this for $2,050, this spread, right? 10 contracts, okay? So I'm now going to close it out 2 weeks later for $4,230. That's right, a $2,050 investment turned into $4,230 in 2 weeks. Pretty impressive, right? Now, some of our members took their profits after a week, making a 44% return in a week. Nothing wrong with that. And then other members are closing it out now for 106% return in 2 weeks. So that Microsoft call vertical debit spread was a huge winner, and we did really, really well with that one. Now, the other one that we've got on right now is Apple. We're up around 40% on this, 43% to be exact. We needed to get above 150, and it's very close to that. We're sitting at a 43% profit at this point. So that one's looking really good as well. We've already spoken about Pfizer, that we've just knocked it out of the park with that. Cannot lose on that trade. That's looking really good. The Yum trade that we put on, we needed it to get above 140 before the 15th of October. So we've still got plenty of time for this to play out. Sort of going a little sideways right now, but nothing too concerning. Just continuing to hold that one as we speak, right? But I just closed out a nice trade on Riot for 9.5% return in 3 weeks, 24 days to be exact. And I'm thinking of getting into a new trade here with Riot. So let's just have a look at it here. This is a new trade that I'm thinking of now on Riot. And, again, I'm looking for it to move higher, right? Like we did just recently. Okay, looking for it to move higher. And I'm wondering if this is a left shoulder, a head, and a right shoulder there. So do we have an inverse head and shoulders here, which is a bullish charting pattern, right? Do we have an inverse head and shoulders, which may then break to the upside, okay? So what I've done is I've set up a position here with options where I'm looking for it to get above 40. Now, that really wouldn't be that difficult in the next sort of month, okay? And I've got 40 on there already, right? So the 40 price point there, if it can get above 40 in the next month, we will make an 18.8% return on our money. 18.8%, that's pretty solid, right? So I'm looking at that trade. Part of the reason for that is, so I just made 9.5% return in 24 days, and now I'm re-entering the trade, right? So if we go to earningswhispers.com, we go to Riot, and we have a look, they just reported their earnings yesterday after the market closed, right? So if we have a look at that, you can see that they beat on earnings. They were expecting 5 cents earnings per share. They actually reported 13. They expected 30.9 million in revenue. They reported 34.3. Now, revenue grew 1,668.7% on a year-over-year basis. Pretty impressive, right? So when a company's growing their earnings, that's normally a good thing. Inverse head and shoulders, bouncing off the 200. All I needed to do is get above 40, and I'm going to make an 18.8% return on my money. So I like the look of that one. That is a new position that we are looking to enter. Palantir, we are still in that position. I needed to get above 25 in the next month. If it doesn't do that, then I'm just going to simply sell more call options against it and bring in even more income. But if it moves above 25, we'll do well on that one. Even if it doesn't, we still have, it's a long-term trade with Palantir, and I like the prospects of this long-term, and we'll continue to cash flow it with options. That's a big advantage of options, right? We can have something long-term, and we can sell shorter-term call options against it where time value is working in our favor and continue to pay down that long-term asset. It's a beautiful thing because each month we're actually reducing our risk. Sometimes each week we're reducing our risk in the trade while we're holding something long-term, looking for a bigger long-term move, but reducing it each and every month as a minimum, sometimes every week when we're in the trade. So Palantir right now is looking good. No problems there. We're happy to continue to hold that one. So they're the trades that I'm looking at for this week, right? Just a new trade there on Riot. Another trade that we were in that is continuing just to move higher here, just bounced off the 21, still looking good. Fortinet, with the increase in the need for cybersecurity since the whole world shut down and we went digital, we went online, right? The need for cybersecurity is through the roof right now, particularly with these ransomware attacks and hacking that's going on. This is a big issue here. So this company has done extremely well from that, and I believe it will continue to do well moving forward. Up last night, 3.22%. And could continue to move up. So liking the look of that one as well. So they're just a couple of ideas that I'm focusing on right now. So we will let the market tell us what it wants to do this week, but needless to say, we are crushing it in the market right now, making incredible amounts of money and really showing our members how to utilize the full versatility of options with a variety of strategies that fits any type of market and making profits as we go. So, absolutely beautiful with what's happening there right now, and we are over the moon with the returns that we are making, on companies like Riot, like Pfizer, like Apple, like Microsoft, all those companies that we've recently had very good winning trades on. So we will talk to you again next week. Right now, the market looks like it wants to continue to go up, but remember those numbers because I won't be talking to you for a week. The lines in the sand there between bullish and bearish are right here. So if we do get it below 4444.35, then we're no longer in bullish mode. And if we drop below 4006.80, then we have officially entered bearish mode. Until when, Sean? The new opening range, which is set on the first trading day of the month, which would be September. So right now, bullish. We know what specific lines in the sand will determine bullish or bearish for the next couple of weeks. Manage those trades, continue to make money, and we will trade like professionals, reduce risk, and stay in trades that are paying us and find ways of locking in profit as we go. That's really the key here. So doing very well, very happy with what's going on, and we will see what the market gives us this week. All right, my friends, all the best, and bye for now.